Okay, so we're going to start to create our wallpaper now. And you're basically going to be repeating your image on Google Drawings to kind of make like your own like pattern, repeating pattern. And it should look like wallpaper when you're done, which means that it's kind of this like repeating design that could go on and on forever. We're just going to be limited to the size of our Google Drawing space. So I've uploaded my image, and this is the second image I took, my second process image. So it's the one where I drew it and then cut it apart and then added some more painting and things like that. So um, I just named my assignment like pattern assignment. You could name it, pattern drawing. You could name it pattern painting, whatever, whatever works for you for your organization. So I have my drawing space. I uploaded my image and I want to crop it because I want to get rid of all this kind of like superfluous table space that's around it. So I'm going to go to my crop tool. And if you notice, there's the blue kind of like borders that are surrounding your image. So that's kind of like designating the edges of your image. But I really want to be concerned about the gray borders. So I'm going to try to move my cursor right over that little black bar, and it's going to slide down. And I want to slide it down so that I have none of that table showing. If some of my drawing gets cut off too, that's okay. But that's what, that's all the extra space that I want to take out. And then press enter, and that's going to go away. All right, and now I can move my image up a little bit if I want to. So I'm going to do the same thing on the side. So the only thing with cropping is that you're going to have to do it side by side, unless you can get it all from, one of the corner pieces where it kind of comes down together in proportion. But I want to do mine side by side so I can have control over that. Um, so just, oops, did not want to do that. Okay, so now I want to finish the cropping. Okay, and I have one more side. So I'm just being careful to try to not move the blue too much. I just want to kind of worry about the gray. Okay, so this is my image, and you're going to repeat it. So you will probably have to extend your background space. Now, if you notice, I'm not coloring in the background because I don't want the background to show. I only want my image to show. So I'm going to fit this right up in the corner here. And I do want it to be a little bit smaller. So you need to fit in 9 boxes. So you're going to repeat this 9 times. So I'm going to copy it and then move over to my background and paste. And you'll see it's kind of just, it ends up right over it. So I'm just going to slide it right over. And then paste again. Slide it right over. You just want it right up against the edges. Paste again. So for 9, I'm going to do 3, 3, 3. Actually, going to move these guys a little bit smaller. And these bars are really helpful because they'll kind of show you that all your edges are going to be lined up when you're doing this. There we go. I want this one that's underneath, I want it to be the same size as the one that's on top. So I'm going to kind of just look at that seam right there. Could be a little bit bigger. All right, and keep pasting. Bring it out a tiny bit. Bring it up a tiny bit. So pattern is all about repetition, right? Something has some, form, color, shape, texture, keeps repeating. So that's all that pattern is. I don't think this will work for the bottom here. So we'll do 8 times. So I just have to do 4 across. I'm still learning the limitations of all the programs. But this is one way we can kind of have our, a little bit of regular artwork, and we can still manipulate it and do some stuff with it digitally, which is easier when we're at home. But we can still, try to do some actual artwork. All right, so I think that is pretty good. You can definitely see the repetition there, so I'm pleased with that. And then I'm going to kind of clean up this edge. So I'm going to bring in my canvas, my background. And there you go. Now you have like almost wallpaper, and you can really see the repetition of like the sun image. You can see the repetition of that blob image. But that's, definitely getting the idea of pattern across. So I'm going to save this as a JPEG, because then I can easily put it into my slideshow. And you're going to do the same thing that you did for the elements of art. You're going to start creating a slideshow for the principles of design. So I'll get that started too. So I'll show you that in one, kind of all in one step. So Google Slides. And these are going to be the principles of design. I'm going to keep mine really simple, just so it's easy for people to see at home. If you want to do something for your slides like you did for your element of art, that's fine. I'm totally okay with that. So principles of design are kind of going to be combining the elements in new ways. So for pattern, we talked about line, shape, and color, and we were repeating those elements to achieve a pattern. So, we're going to be kind of talking about the elements now in groupings versus just thinking about them individually. And have our pattern. To put in my pattern image. Here it is. It looks like wallpaper. And I don't want it to take over my slide, so I am going to reduce it down a little bit. I want to change that. Sorry, I just want to get rid of this box. All right, and can look up pattern in art. Definition. Pattern is a design in which forms, shapes, forms, or colors are repeated. This is the British way of writing colors. This must be from from the BBC. So the part that is repeated is often called a motif. So for my example, my sun would be a motif because that's the thing that's getting repeated. Patterns can be regular or irregular. I think that's will do just fine. So once again, you can copy mine, you can find your own. All right, and that's our first principle of design slide. So just make sure that you download the slide and you attach that to the assignment. So you're going to be handing in 4 things. You're going to be handing in your 2 process shots of you creating the image, and then you're going to be handing in the final pattern that you've done on Google Drawings, and then you're going to be handing in your pattern slide. All right, so there'll be 4 parts to this project. All right,